Hey, I don't know if you saw the video recently of Amy Grant. She was going through some difficult times and some hard circumstances, and her husband asked, "Do you want to talk about it?" She said no. So she tells the story in this interview that she went out on the front porch and she looked up at the moon, and then she said she said, "I felt my finger twitching, and so I asked God, 'Are you dancing with me?'" And then she says she went back inside and went to bed, and she said, "I was at peace." And so I don't know what she's been through. I know some of it because I've read about it over the years. But I say this, having gone through my own hard stuff. All right. And I say it respectfully, but I've also seen this same thing with people who are not professional Christian singers and musicians, and that is that whatever it is that she's going through or that we're going through, you don't want to find your peace and resolve. I say resolve, but resolve a problem by going out on the porch and looking up at the moon and feeling your finger twitch, and then you say, "God, are you dancing with me?" I mean, that's not. I'm sorry, that's just not compelling. I mean, who listens to that and then says, "I want what they've got"? Right? Who listens to that and says, "Boy, that's good right there. That makes sense to me. And whatever it is that they're talking about, that's what I want for my life." I mean, so as apologetics goes, that's just subjective. That is so subjective. There's nothing to base reality on. There is no reality reflected in that experience. That is the testimony of a victim. That's the testimony of somebody who's bought into woke progressive theology. There was nothing there about, I prayed and I spent some time with God. There's nothing there about I read God's word. There's nothing there about, I was on the phone with a friend who's been, pouring into me for years and encouraging me in the word. There was nothing solid there. That's the kind of testimony. I mean, I'd say this respectfully, and I know people who've been through a lot of hard stuff, but that's the kind of, you don't say that in public. I mean, how far over the edge do you have to be to let yourself say something like that and then record it and then put it on the internet for the whole world to see? There was nothing in that testimony that is a reflection of a person who has followed God and held on to biblical teaching. So I pray, God, that you will be reading God's word, asking for wisdom and discernment, and avoid woke and progressive theology, because that's what it'll do to you.